Welcome back. You're watching SA Today with me, Unathi Bhatyashe. Let's continue here now. The National Union Metal Workers of South Africa national strike in the engineering sector went into full gear yesterday. Workers marched to the Metals and Engineering Industries Bargaining Council as part of the first day of action. They also handed over a memorandum of demands to the Steel and Engineering Industries Federation of Southern Africa's headquarters in Johannesburg. Now, let's get an update. We're joined via Zoom by NUMSA spokesperson Phakamile Hlubi-Majola. Phakamile, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers, and thank you for having me on your show.
Phakamile, remind us again what your fundamental demands to the Steel and Engineering Industries Federations are.
Well, this is not just for the Steel and Engineering Industries Federation. That's SIFSA. That's just one of the employer associations. This strike is against all employers in the engineering sector, and that includes employer associations like NIASA, CEO, SAIFA. So our demands for all of them are that we want an 8% across the board increase for the first year, and for the second year we want CPI plus 2% improvement factor for the second and third year. This is basically what has sparked the strike. It's the deadlock caused by the fact that we are quite far from each other. Currently, the formal proposal on the table from one of the employer associations, which is SIFSA, is a 4.4% offer for the first year. And for the second year, they're offering CPI plus 1%, and the third year, CPI plus 0.5%. Now, this is why we have deadlocked. We've deadlocked because our members feel that the gap is too far. Our members feel that they would want a meaningful proposal. They feel that given that last year they sacrificed their increases in order to protect the industry when COVID-19 arrived, they feel that this proposal which employers have made is not good enough.
Now, Phakamile, notwithstanding the economic state of the country pre-COVID-19, we know that the pandemic itself has set back the lives of millions of South Africans. Talk to us about just how badly this has affected your workers under your union during this time. And the reason I ask that question is, I mean, if you look at what you are demanding and what employers are willing to pay, one does not get a sense that what the workers are demanding is reasonable given the time that we are in.
Well, you have to understand that we are representing some of the lowest paid workers. So what is a 4% increase for someone who's earning 20 Rand an hour? Those are some of the people who make up the membership of NUMSA within the Metals Engineering Industries Bargaining Council. And this is a real problem. I mean, you can talk about COVID and the impact of COVID on the economy and on business, but we all know that nobody has suffered during this time of the pandemic more than ordinary workers and their families. They have borne the full brunt of the horrors that this virus has brought on us. Last year, when the lockdowns were in full force, and government promised to pay out the temporary employee relief scheme, the relief payments, our members suffered for months because that money was not paid, because of a combination of incompetence and corruption on the side of the department. And yet business, on the other hand, got massive support and bailouts through the Solidarity Fund. There was no problem for them to access their relief. And at the same time, so whilst workers have had to endure months without salaries, endure the real struggles of COVID-19, and on top of that, the escalating food prices, then they go and they don't get an increase. So really it is, we are in a situation where we've been forced into taking this decision to embark on strike action.
Now, you're raising some very pertinent reasons why workers would want, to go on strike, particularly where they see the blatant corruption that is happening in our country, and we've seen that playing itself out at the Commission, for for state capture. But what do you say to those who say the country simply has no money to pay workers, given the economic state of the country, the high unemployment rate, and how businesses have suffered during lockdown restrictions, even though you have mentioned that most businesses have been given bailouts?
Yeah, but that might be the case. But the fact of the matter is, compared to workers, you can't even compare the two. And I think we already know that. We already know that in this country, workers are burdened with carrying the effects of unemployment, extreme poverty and extreme inequality with no support from this government. So frankly, whatever excuses business can give, it doesn't come close to the suffering that workers and their families have endured. All we're asking is for them to give back.
Phakamile, just very briefly, give us an understanding of what is going to be happening over the next couple of days in terms of this particular strike. Also, have you, since you've handed over the memorandum, discussed with any of the employers during this time? All right, it looks like we lost our connection there with NUMSA spokesperson Phakamile Hlubi Majola.